Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Todd Rains here from Woodturning Tool Store with you. Um, so it's 2:30 on Friday, so 2:30 Todd, I guess. So glad to be here in the shop, even though it's a little chilly. Let me come and say hi to a few people. So Ken, good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Shelly says hi back, and say hi to Karen. And Lowell's in the house. Lowell Wolf warming up in Alamo. So good. Yeah. We'll talk about that. So a lot of people in Texas are suffering from freezing cold and stuff. So I'm no stranger to cold, but this is the coldest I've seen it in Texas in my 24 years here. Growing up in Calgary, we're used to the cold weather growing up, but certainly the week-long freeze here has caused lots of issues. So I hope everybody's okay. I know a lot of friends are without power for days on end, which has got to be downright chilly and frustrating. A lot of people without water too because of that. And so, yeah, just my heart goes out to everybody that's suffering through this. So. But I think we're on the upswing with temperatures, so hopefully we're going to be warming up here. It's have not been in the shop all week. Obviously, it's been just too cold. My little mini split AC with the heat pump can't keep up with the cold. So we talked a little bit about that last week. So talk a bit more here in a little bit. I'm going to say hi to a few more people. Rick, good to have you here. 39 and raining, so that's nice. At least it's above freezing there. So excellent. And then Philip Greenwood. Evening, Philip. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. And Roy's in the house. Roy, good to hear from you again. And hopefully you got your thing squared away with Jeff. So good news. So yeah. So let me just say I'm probably not going to have a full hour-long show here today. I do have the space heaters plugged in again, and it's a little chilly. But otherwise, we're doing fine here. We've been lucky. We've not suffered any power outages, so we've had heat the whole week and things like that. So feel blessed that way. The space heaters are plugged into separate circuits now, and I put a newsletter out the last night, I guess, yesterday, and told the story about the electrical pop and stuff like that we experienced last Friday. Actually, if you go watch the replay, you'll hear it at about I think 23-minute mark on the replay, either on YouTube or Facebook. And yeah, so it was the extension cord on a coil, recoil system, one of those winds up by itself sort of thing. And that had just fused together. So I caution everybody in the newsletter to double check and turn your space heaters off when you're not in use. Unplug them, as a matter of fact. And watch your extension cords. Got a lot of feedback from people that are right into electrical stuff, and said unwind that power cord all the way. Otherwise, the coil windings act like a little heat sink, and that's really what melted the insulation and caused the short. So so if you got one of those retractable extension cords, uncoil it all the way and use it that way. Not really something I kept in mind over the years. So we all have those things to learn. So I'll be putting that in the next newsletter, that little tip. So thanks for all the feedback to all the newsletter readers for that one. So let's see. Hey, Doug Grissom is in the house. Good to see you got your own YouTube. Doug, thank you. It's always come under your wife's name, I think, before. So good to see you here. Hope you're okay down south there. Glenn Dornack, Corpus Christi. Yeah, finally some sunshine. Good, Glenn. I'm glad to hear it. Hopefully you and your family are doing well. Canada's up in Montana, so windy and clear skies with 39 degrees. Yeah, so their infrastructure is built for cold weather up there. Unfortunately, Texas is falling behind in that regard. So we got some politicians to to look to try and fix that. See what happens. Nick, Nick, good to see you here. Good to have you on the live stream. Thanks for joining. Nick, I believe you're, I don't know if I get the name of the city, but you're down in Central Texas somewhere, I believe. And yeah, worked with Nick. He seems to get gift cards all the time to Woodturning Tool Store. So he and I chat every once in a while about that. So good to have you here. So yeah, a great gift, I think, for people if they want to get a gift card, get one at Woodturning Tool Store. So yeah, good, Doug. Good to hear, Doug. You're okay, so that's good news. So yeah, the weather has kind of slowed everything down. From people getting internet and power and water and stuff. So obviously people are cold without that. But it's affected a lot of other things as well. Deliveries are slow, so we've been expecting deliveries here for a week, and those have not gone. I'm sure people that I'm sending stuff to, they're seeing delays in their deliveries. So we got to be a little patient there. And other things like our club was supposed to have a meeting last night. We had to postpone that a week because one, our guy with the newsletter didn't have internet or power, so he couldn't get the newsletter out. I put a little announcement out to all the club members. Our demonstrator for that club meeting last night lives in, I want to say San Antonio. No, Austin, Craig Timmerman. So his shop was frozen. He was dealing with power outages, so we postponed a week. So I'm sure things like that are happening across the state, across the country. So yeah, let's hope things warm up. So Nick says San Antonio. Okay, good to know, Nick. Thank you. Facebook, hi, mate. Okay, it must be one of the folks from overseas on the Woodturners Retreat page, I'm guessing. So what are we doing here? So I've got a little banner there, Face Grain Series, all things wood turning. So that's kind of what we've been on the last, I want to say 3 weeks, but it's really been 5 weeks since I started this. So we had 2 weeks interrupted with other stuff I had to prepare for. So so last week was really the first real turning in this series. So we started on a little bowl, and we'll go through. We talked a little bit of bowl gouge cuts and all that kind of stuff. So we'll look to do and finish that little bowl today. So yeah, today's a little simple bowl program. So, and I think yeah. So 19th. That's right. So next Friday, I got thin bowl on the schedule. I don't know. Hard to remember when I put up this sort of agenda of what I was going to do, what I had. So thin bowl, and the week after, twice turn bowl, square platter, rim decorated bowl. So we'll see if we get there. I may have to preempt a couple, depending on how the equipment goes here. I've got some things changing, so I'll maybe let you know a bit more about that as we go. Michael is in the house. Thank you, Michael. Hopefully everything's up there fine in Victoria. Should be, weather-wise, I hope. So good to have you here. It's Chris. Okay. Thanks, Chris. Good to have you here. Appreciate it. Figured as much. It must be somebody over there. Chris Parker, I believe. So let's see. Yeah, so where were we? Let's get on to overhead. We had this little bowl mounted up. We were doing some cuts on the outside, so we'll mount it back up again and finish the outside and reverse it and finish a simple little bowl. So I believe this is walnut. It's really dry, and it is really staticky, and I found out that last time. So I've got a stab center mounted in my chuck, little Nova chuck. This is the one-way step center for the one-way chucks, but it seems to grip well in the Vic, the Nova. Doesn't do so well in the Vic Marks for some reason. So there we go. Yeah, so I'm just using my thumb here to rock it back and forth this way and that way to kind of set those teeth down. Oh, I didn't turn that on. I don't know if I need to. I'll just move the carriage overhead. Sorry for the bumpiness. So the teeth down in the step center there are now engaged in the holes that the dimples that were in there before. So I just kind of made sure it's in there, and then we'll tighten up the tailstock. And we should be good to go. The tailstock's got the ring center, so it lines up nicely after taking it on and off. So we're going to be refacing this anyway. So one of the things I I wanted to do on this, maybe I will turn that on. I may go back and forth here. So I'm just going to set this up. Bear with me a quick second. And I don't need to go much farther than that. On this this foot here, we're gonna have to reshape this bowl because I want to have a landing pad. I've got a landing pad here for the chuck jaws, but I need another step down for the bowl so that I can continue the bowl shape into the foot. Right now, I would not be able to do that very well. If I look at where this curve is going to end up, I'm going to have that gap right in there. So I want to bring that back so that the curve can blend into there. So we'll reshape that way. And so that's one thing to think about bowl turning, at least simple bowl like this that uses a tenon. Michael had over a foot of snow and freezing temperatures last weekend. Snow is almost gone, 8 degrees C and sunny today. So 8 C is probably what, 45 Fahrenheit, somewhere there maybe. So yeah, that's unusual for Victoria, I think, right? So we'll see. One of the things I should note is we talked about my gouges. I didn't get out the shop at all this week to sharpen anything, so we'll see how this goes. I've got a few gouges set up. We should be okay. Yeah, let me see. There was something else I wanted to mention. It'll come to me, though, as we talk. Okay, is it sitting okay? It looks crooked in the picture, Roy says. I think it's sitting okay. Let's take a look. Yeah. Michael says 45, 48, very unusual. But yeah, let's take a look, Roy. Let's got the speed indicator, the knob all the way down. Pull that on, double check that. The face is running crooked. We haven't trued that yet, but this is running fairly true. So I don't have a problem there. So it's running pretty good from what we did yesterday or last week. Let me actually put that in there maybe. Yeah, so I know there's some regulars that usually join that aren't here today. I'm sure they're still struggling with power and heat issues. So I just wish them all the best. Tony, Joaquin, hopefully Steve's okay over there in Denton, and others. I know there's several in the area that have suffered power outages. Chris Cohen, one of them, our newsletter guys had mentioned. So yeah, wishing them all the best. And there we go. Safety glasses. Trying a little bit of a push cut to clean this up a little bit just to see how things are turning. Seems to be turning pretty well. This is what I mean about this staticky stuff. It just kind of sticks to you. And so I'm going to carve in and make that second sort of platform, if you will, or step, and then carve the bowl shape from there. Do a little sort of bevel rubbing pull cut. Let's take a look at what I kind of mean about that second step. So now this this curve, so I come around, it's going to be able to go into this step and use that step and the tenon for the bottom of the foot. So the bottom of the bowl will be in that tenon. But this extra step gives us some meat there to create that curve up to that foot. So I've made plenty of bowls without it, and then you end up trying to make a foot out of this tenon, and without any meat in between, you got to make a real small foot or a really flat bottom bowl. So for now, I'm just kind of looking for shape. I'm going to redo that push cut here in a second now that we've got sort of shape figured out. I'm going to go backwards against the grain just to kind of I'm kind of just using my tool there to kind of see where my gouge will go on the making the foot. So I'm going to travel through this platform. So I'm going to make this platform a little skinnier if I look at this view. This width is a little wide here, so I'm going to skinny that up a little bit. So we'll do that with this cut. Let me go overhead and we'll put that up there. Come over and take some of that away. How do I know my tenon is sized properly? Well, I actually tested it before I put it on. That's what the little white mark is there. It's dust from my chuck. And so I tested it this morning. So look, we've got Chris back. Hi, Todd. Glad to see you. Good to have you here, Chris. It's kind of one of those thankful moments. Hopefully you and your family are warm enough. Sawdust story. So that's good to see you. Steve Thomason, got power back in water, but have to boil it. Yeah, oh, shit. Whoops. Shoot. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm sure the water system has got some issues for sure. And my wife is chiming in, saying hi to Ken. Oh, Michael's saying hi. And she's saying hi back. So yeah, looks like she found a few moments from work to sign in and watch the live stream. So, we saw. Well, I don't know. I can't post it anywhere on here anyway. But Tim Wadley sent us a instant message with a funny joke that just broke us up this morning. It was hilarious. So, yeah, I think he's posted it on Facebook. So it's kind of funny. Anyway, just got me thinking about Shelly and the iPad and something like that. Let's see. Dave says, David, good to have you here. Hi, Todd. Are you doing a demo every Friday at this time? Yeah. So essentially, I am. There is a series of live streams that I'm doing. This is number 3, really, in the series. It's a series of 8. And I did an 8 series a show last fall, in this one, and then I'll do another one in the spring or summer. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah. So screen share. I'm just going to do Chrome tab. Let's do that one. That one. Here we go. I'll make that full screen. So this is my website, Woodturning Tool Store. So I'm on the Explore tab in the live stream with Todd Rains. And we've got the whole Face Grain series program kind of laid out here. So today is the 19th. So we're doing a simple bowl today. You can see the rest of the schedule out until March 26th. So all of the live stream previous ones, although I've got to update this section with the last one. Oops, there we go. So you can watch all the previous live streams here. This is the fall series, small project series that ended in December. So all those are here. So you can come to the website, watch them all. You can watch them all on YouTube. You can watch them all on Facebook, either way. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. David, oops, not that one. That one, there we go. And let me put myself in full screen. So yeah, so every Friday, 2:30 Central Time, at least for the next 6 weeks on this series. So, and then I'll come up with something else. We'll do something else for the next, another 6 or 8 weeks. So, I don't know if I should show this message. Shelly, she's playing hooky for a few minutes. Rick, how do you protect your split mini, from dust, the mini split AC unit? So it's up behind me. It's actually behind my green screen. If I go to that one, let me take this screen share off. So up behind the green screen here against the wall is the mini split. But what I've done on top of that is, on top is where the intake is, on top of the mini split. So I built a little frame out of wood and then took some, we call it, it's not furnace filter, but it's like allergy filter, mesh stuff, and built a little frame and put that on top. So it's like a secondary filter. So that captures a lot of stuff. And then the filters inside the mini split capture quite a bit. And then I vacuum it out and blow it out every 3 months or so. Seems to work well. I have not really had any major issues with dust in here. I try and capture most everything here. I've got an air cleaner right overhead. So it should take most of the stuff, if I'm doing a lot of sanding and stuff, away from the mini split. So, but good question. I tell you that mini split, at least here in Texas, is, for a garage, which I am in. I'm in our home garage. It's my workshop. Has been for years. It's one of the best solutions, and I waited too long to do it. I put this in about four years ago. Should have done it 15, 20 years ago. Great solution for a garage. Insulate the walls. So we drilled cavities throughout the garage, every wall. We got a insulation blower from one of the big box doors and some cellulose insulation, blew all the cavities of all the 3 walls. Actually, well, two and a half. The wall between the house was already done, so really 2 walls. There's insulation in the ceiling of this thing, and the garage door is insulated, so it keeps fairly well. In the summertime, when it's 100 degrees out, I can have it nice 72 degrees, 75 degrees out here, no problem. So very nice. Otherwise, it would get up to like 90 in here before 10 o'clock. Anyway, good question, Rick. So yeah, mini splits. This room is 20 by 21, so just over 450 square feet. So I forget the tonnage on this thing. I think it's BTUs. I'm not sure what it is. To tell you the truth, I can't remember. It's good to see. Okay, Cindy tomorrow, Todd Sunday. What could be better? Yeah, so that's right. Cindy is doing her part 2 or follow up to her twisted box follow along demonstration. So that's tomorrow. And then yeah, Michael, good point. Let me. I know I'm kind of not turning right now, but let me just follow this up while we're on topic. So my demo on Sunday is a follow-up Q&A session for my ATEM mini demo from the February 6th event. So February 6th, I did a 2-hour demo showing how to use the ATEM switcher from basic sort of level. And then tomorrow is the follow-up. Got lots of questions to go through, so a lot of people have enjoyed that and sent me lots of questions and comments and stuff. So that's happening tomorrow. Thank you, Michael. Good segue. Blake Nelson, also playing hooky on a break from ice fishing on Lake Superior to see your great demo. Well, thanks, Blake. That's brave. I did a little bit of ice fishing when I was younger, but not a whole lot. So have fun. Hope you catch something. So let's get back to this little bowl, and we'll finish this out. So we'll just finish. I've got a good sort of step there. I know it's gonna work. So glasses back on, and let's just kind of clean up this outside a little bit. I can get about there. That's not going to work any better. I'll do a little bit of a push cut here where I can get to. Got kind of lumpy there, but I'm going to shear scrape around this corner. And take off this rim. I really don't like it standing up quite so tall there, so vertical. I want it just a little bit splayed out, so we'll reshape. In fact, I'm going to... No, I didn't... let me grab something for a second. Oh, what went wrong? Not sure what that was. Blacked out. My overhead camera. Why is that? That's weird. A little diagnostics here, folks. 1 second. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Just checking a cable connection. There we go. For some reason, the cable needed to be replugged in. I was farting around in the box earlier this morning, so something must have jogged loose. You remember last time we talked about shear scrapers? My scrapers were kind of dull, so I found my my diamond hone, the credit card one. So I'm just gonna take off the top and smooth that, and then we'll put a new burr on it. So try and show that on camera. So this is a hollow grind, so I'm trying to hit both the bottom of the grind and the top of the grind at the same time. You can kind of see that on the glinting surface. There's a nice silver strip there and at the top as well. And we're going to use this to do a bit more shear scraping on this thing. So we're going to leave the tool up on its edge, not flat, up on its edge, and with the angle between the bowl and the tool less than 90 degrees. So, and then that's how we're going to shear scrape. Double check that. I'm actually shaping the bowl with this tool. Not really just doing a light shear scrape, but just making a shape, shaping cuts. Sometimes it's just easier to get around the corner. I have to learn how to be ambidextrous. It's one of the things that hinders me a little bit, is not being able to grab the gouge in the other hand. Yeah, can see that. Thank you. So my producer came in and said, "You got a question, Todd?" Blake says, "Can you explain why when shear scraping with the lower wing does not catch and spin the gouge?" Yeah, if I'm shear scraping with a bowl gouge in the lower wing, I'll blow that off and let me get this. So we've got when I've got the tool on the tool rest, and let me see if I can get just a smidge wider to show the tool rest. I've got the tool on this side of the gouge on there, and whenever I roll that over, I've got very good control on the cutting edge that's right below that fulcrum point. So when the tool is rolled over, the fulcrum point is right underneath that edge of the gouge. So maybe I draw a line. See how straight I can get. So, oops, out of the picture. So if I draw a line right from here down the gouge, so that's a straight line. So if I am shear scraping with that edge anywhere kind of along there, I am pretty much right on that fulcrum point of that gouge. So that's pretty much where it lies when I'm rolled over that far, right? So if I look at the tailstock view, you can see that black line is right down, and in the top view, my blade or the bottom wing is on the gouge. That's why it doesn't roll over, because it's fully supported. If I had the tool like this, I'm going to go this area where I've got, let me take that off, where I've got the bowl gouge up here, and I'm going to cut with this wing here. Actually, it'll make more sense if I do it this way. If I have the bowl gouge like this, and I'm going to cut with this wing here, then my fulcrum point is right on the bottom of the gouge, but I'm cutting up with this wing. And so that's going to get me to roll over, right? So I'll be there, and it'll catch, and it'll turn the bowl over. Because it wants to have a fulcrum point, or basically from a lever perspective, a fulcrum right in line with the cutting edge. So that's one thing you have to watch out for. So when I do a push cut here up this edge, I'm cutting with this tip, but it's actually underneath. If I draw a line straight down there, the fulcrum point of this cut, let me clean that out, be careful I don't cut myself. Right there, that point there where it's going to cut, let me zoom in a little bit. I'll try and back that up a little bit. I can't really cut right there, but let me bend this out just a little bit. Bear with me as the camera moves just a little bit. Stop it. There we go. So as I start cutting with that little section of the tool, the fulcrum point is right in line with that on the tool, right there. So I'm not going to flip over this way. Plus, I've got my bevel behind to support that cut, right? So the bevel is helping to prevent the rollover. But so you usually are cutting on a push cut with this section of the gouge right up in there, and going that way, and your fulcrum point is right on the tool rest. Hopefully that helps, Blake. It's all about leverage. It's all about leverage. So if we do that shear cut, then I've got my fulcrum on that black line right there. I can't point to it. There we go. You can kind of see it faded out there. And I can use that all the way along to scrape with. With this guy, it's the same idea, is that I'm trying to get this edge right underneath. I'm trying to get this lower third. I'm cutting with the lower half of the scraper here. And when it's up on edge, this lower corner is the fulcrum point. And there's not as much force when shear scraping with this tool. So the fulcrum point can be slightly out of line, but it's pretty much right there. So that's why this works so well. Handle up, tool down. So I've got an attitude on the angle of the tool pointing sort of down. And you can see I'm cutting with the lower half of the scraper. And widen that out a little bit. I'm not going to sand here today, so I'm trying to get a nice clean surface off this tool. We've got a fairly nice consistent shape around here, so I'm good. I've got a nice clean shear cut around the whole place. I got a few little tool marks right in there, but that will hand sand out easily. There's a couple more right there, little scraping marks, but otherwise I think we're good to go. We're going to turn this around. Phil says good at okay, that's yes. Appreciate that. Yeah, so hopefully that helps, Blake. Thank you for the question. We are going to pull this apart. I'll take that down, widen this out a little bit. You can kind of see what I'm doing. I need my chuck key. There's that little stab center for the chuck. This is a Nova chuck, so you'll notice on the outside perimeter it's dovetailed, but the inside is straight. And it's got these little, what they call bird's beak. It's a little protrusion right on the lip of the chuck. That's why my tenon is straight. And so the jaws will grip in perfect on this tool. You'll see, if I undo that, it's making a little indent right close to the, I don't know if I'll zoom in, I can get on that. It's kind of an important thing on this chuck. You see that little dent mark right there? That's from this chuck jaw. So you might be able to see it if I widen this out. It's an important thing about different chuck jaw profiles and what you might see. I'll widen them out. See this little bump? That's what they call a bird's beak, but this is otherwise straight. Outside is dovetailed. So I do like these jaws. I think they work well. So a straight tenon. Oops, wrong part of it. And it grips fairly well. I think Phil Irons would be proud of that tenon fit. So let's see if anybody makes comment on that. So there we go. We've got that loaded in the chuck. Let me widen that out. Now you can see a little bit better. That's running pretty good on the outside. I'm happy with that. We'll pull the tailstock a little bit further out of the way. put the scraper down. We're going to reposition camera 2. Come on, there we go. That should work. Okay, I think that will work for what we want to do here. And camera 4 will get a wide shot, and but mostly we're going to be using that shot in the overhead. So, oops, not that one, that one. So I've got my bowl gouge. I need to set my tool rest, so my gouge is gonna end up at the center. I have my tool slightly down, the way I prefer to turn. So reset your tool rest so that your tool is going to end up right at center. And we're going to go ahead and take out the center of this bowl. I'm going to really not bother to face it off too much until we kind of get out to the rim. And we're just going to start coring a little bit. It's such a small bowl and so very dry that I think I'm okay with that. Just going to adjust this up a little bit. So bowl gouge way over to the left, or sorry, the right, and then the point of the gouge into the middle, and use the bevel to, I'm just a little bit low here, bevel to leverage the wood out. I'm pointing the tool where I want it to go, and I'm using my finger and my thumb to kind of back it up so it doesn't skate too bad. I'm really not too worried about the surface if it skates a little bit. It's a rough surface anyway. I just want to take some bites out of it. Now I'm just going to clean up the rim a little bit now. I got most of that out of there. Just saves me from having to clean up the whole rim or the whole surface. I got a nice sharp corner out here. I'm going to actually come back and bevel that a little bit so I don't cut myself. I've done that before. I'm sure most wood turners have a scar right here from having their hand right in the way on the rest and getting cut on that corner. So this prevents that from happening. Putting a nice little bevel on there and just taking that sharp edge away. So it's running nice and true now. In the overhead view, you can kind of see there's no more wobble. It looks like it's running true. Let's see. Glenn asks, when using your scraper, can it be a straight nose or is it better to be a round nose scraper? In the mode I was using it, you could have a square nose scraper doing this as well. I learned from Al Sturt, one of the masters, and this is kind of the profile he puts on his square profile scrapers. So it's slightly rounded in terms of the shape on the end. And all that, what that does is on a more flatter or, without a curve, like a flatter sort of surface, in fact, I'll show it here. Maybe this is a good example. I'm going to bring this out here so you can just see this face of the surface here. If I was to shear scrape this with a flat scraper, then the whole flat surface would be touching this, and that's a lot of wood to take at once. With a slightly curved radius here, I'm only cutting with a very short piece of the tool. So if I was to mark this tool, I'm going to cut with probably that section in there when if I was to take it and face this off here. So let's do that. So you can see, maybe I'll zoom in a little bit. Oops, wrong way. Let me take that off, that's distracting. I'm going to take this question down just to get it out of the way. So with a slightly radiused curve on that square scraper, I'm scraping only with that small section of wood where that black mark is. In fact, you can see how the wood has kind of stained that black mark. If it was totally flat across here, then the whole surface would be cutting at once, and that's way too much to cut at once. So make life easy on yourself, and whenever we're cutting with any tool, we should be cutting with a small section of it. So whether it's this tool here, whether it's that section up there, this section up here, or the very bottom section. Same thing on a bowl gouge. You really should only be cutting with, I need my little brush, there it is. When you're cutting on the gouge, you're only cutting with a small section right there, or maybe a small section on the wing when you're shear scraping right there. You know, it's a very small section. That's one of the reasons why I like a wing that is slightly rounded this way. And it gets me the same profile. Oh, I got my pen in my hand. I got too many things in my hand. So if I was to look at this tool on the bowl gouge, they can see they almost got the same profile, right? So slightly rounded on the wing is how I want my gouges to look, right? So that's the wrong way. I can't do that side. I can do it this way. There's a slightly shinier view of that wing. So that's how I sharpen my gouges, to have a slightly, I always got to think, convex sort of face to them. It mimics this scraper. And Cindy says hi. Hi, Cindy. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. You're on tomorrow, so we're going to see your follow-up tomorrow. So that'll be fun. So let me quickly not. Where are we at in time? I said there's going to be a quick one, but maybe a shorter one. But it's not turning out that way. So there we go. Let's put that there. We'll put that up there. So I'm going to knock this out a little bit. Hopefully I don't get too aggressive. As I'm cutting this bowl out, if I look at the overhead a bit, I'm pointing my gouge bevel in the direction as the same as the wall. So my wall is pretty steep here, so my bevel is pretty steep as I go down. So I'm always looking at this profile as I'm cutting this inside profile. And that's to get even wall thicknesses. Don't have to be thin. In fact, we'll probably leave it about this thickness, and we'll shape the rim a little bit. So now I've created all these little steps. Oops, these little steps in here, and we'll go back and cut this way. And this is how dry this stuff is. It's just tearing out all over the place. So go back and we'll kind of core out and use those steps on the inside. And we'll create new steps. We'll come back this way, catch that step, and cut down to the just before the previous step. I'm going to switch gouges. I think that one's getting dull. Take up to the next step, up to the next step. I take these down a bit more. here again, this is another case of where we're leveraging and how I can make that cut. So I'm cutting with, I do that, yeah, there we go. I'm cutting with this corner mostly, up here. That area of the gouge, let me clean all that stuff out. That's a bit easier to see. That little black mark is mostly where I'm cutting. And because I'm cutting that, the leverage point is right along that line. So as long as I have that line close to the tool, contacting the tool rest, I'll have plenty of support making that cut. Come back the other way. Use these little ridges to catch your bevel. You can see all those lines. Whoops, I didn't have that on there. See all those lines in there. In fact, I'll just turn that on. Those lines are bruising marks from the heel of this gouge. So as I go around that corner, that sort of pointy heel is bruising the wood. So let's look at another gouge to kind of help eliminate that or fix that. So I've got a 40/40 grind here, and I have relieved the heel a little bit, not a whole lot, but somewhat. So that's going to be a little shallower gouge to kind of get down there. We'll see how that works. And I've got the other end of this tool to work with as well. So I honestly haven't used 40/40 a whole lot, so what I noticed on that last cut was that the angle of my tool, because the bevel angle is so different, my tool had to be back, handle had to be back here quite a bit more. And I didn't do that at the beginning, and that's why I took a deeper cut at the bottom. So it has to turn the corner, the handle has to turn a little bit quicker than the 50-degree or 55-degree grind. So let's look at a bottom of the bowl grind. I've got it in my handle here is the master cut gouge with two ends to it. So I'm putting the one end into it and taking out the other side of the gouge, which I've got set up with a very blunt, this is probably a 65-degree bevel up here, bottom of the bowl grind, traditional sort of bowl grind. And we're going to use that to kind of take this last cut. We may have to do some scraping as well. So this grind may be too shallow for it to get up on the walls. Or too steep, I mean. Want to see what's happening down there. It's bouncing quite a bit. This stuff is staticky and dry. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of bounce down there, so I keep doing that. I keep forgetting to change. Let me do that again. Thanks, Steve. I see that now. Switch cameras. So here's the handle position between this guy getting the bottom and this guy getting the bottom. Right? And then here's handle position. I don't have I got another. I don't have another 40. Well, if I had the 40-40 gouge, then it'd have to be over here. So 40-degree bevel, 55-degree bevel, probably a 65 center degree bevel. So anyway, I'm going to actually take a scraper to that because I just don't have the patience right now to deal with it otherwise. So I've got a negative rake scraper, which is a double angled tool, double beveled tool, sorry. And it's got a bevel on both sides of equal amounts and shaped into this sort of round profile for doing bowls. So I want that tool cutting pretty much on center. It seems to be about there. Change cameras again, Todd. I got Steve in my head now, my co-host. That's really an annoying noise. Should be plenty of wall thickness to kind of not have that scream so bad. So a little back pressure on with the fingers. Not too bad. I've got a little bit of a dimple right at the bottom. I'd rather have a dimple than a dent. A dimple I can sand away. I think we're pretty good on thickness. And bring out a toy. Too many toys in the drawer. It's making a lot of noise. Okay, I've got a overhead little digital outside caliper. We'll zero it. And let me try and get that. .3451. So I'm quite thick on the bottom compared to the other. So I need to take quite a bit more out. But that's really really it for today. I think we've gone the whole hour. I don't really want to spend too much more time here with this bowl today. It's my fingers are getting chilly. Let me get myself on the screen here. So yeah, sorry, yeah, Steve, I did hear you once in my head, so thanks for that. I appreciate that. Oh, geez, my wife is chatting with Cindy. So anyway, I think that is it. We didn't really finish this whole bowl. We've got a pretty good scope on it. It's really quite a nice finish on here. So I'm not too displeased with the shape on the inside. So I can always turn the outside a little thinner. I don't mind bottoms being a little thicker like that. It makes them sit better, in my opinion. So especially with a bowl, a small foot like this. So the rim treatment, I guess I could slant it in, slant it in, slant it out, put a little radius on it, and put a little, I got enough rim here to put a little groove in it if I wanted, something like that. So I like this thickness of bowl for this size. We'll do a thin bowl next time. May find some different wood to do that with. So this stuff is pretty dry. Anyway, I got a couple things just to say. Let me put this back up. Banner. So yeah, Sunday. Well, tomorrow see Cindy. I got to go full screen here. At her demo. Sunday, come and see me at my ATEM demo. It's a follow up. If you buy a ticket to the Sunday event, you get the replay of the original event as well included. So it's really 2 demos in one, with the second being the Q&A session. So that's there. And then next Saturday, the 27th, Chris Parker and myself will be doing a demonstration at Woodturners Retreat. So go to woodturnersretreat.com. Look for tickets there. You can link to it from my site as well under my events. So that should be a fun one. I will be doing something, a little block of cherry. Can you guess what it is? So I think there's that should be fun. So I'm looking forward to that one. This is actually my practice piece. I got to practice next week. So that's all set. So come and check that out. Otherwise, thank you, Roy, for joining. Appreciate it, Michael. Thank you, Philip. Thank you. Hopefully, everybody picked up a little something today. Well, in terms of wood turning tips, not necessarily anything else. Stay warm, stay healthy, and thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Everybody have a great weekend, and come back next Thursday, next Friday for 2:30 Todd. We got 5 or 6 more in the series, and check it out. So for now, that's it. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Cindy.